nothing else? Yeah, anything? Come on, algorithm gods, I've served you well. Send me another godlike scent! Oh. You're all right. Yes, 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 my dear nostrils. We are going to have a battle tonight. An Eros battle. Versace Eros Eau de Parfum versus Versace Eros Flame. Hi, Dr. Magnifiscent here. Welcome back to the Nashville Knows, the fragrance channel of the gods. Okay, that sounded a little bit conceited. Let's just can that bit. Yes, I finally did it. I've been on the fence for so long about this fragrance because it is severely overplayed and extremely overhyped. And since its birth into the world, it's been a massive success for Versace. The original Eros Eau de Toilette came out in 2012. I didn't bother with it because I know how my skin works with eau de toilettes, and usually it's not great. So I went with the Eros Eau de Parfum, which came out in 2020. Kind of a long gap between those releases. I've heard that it's better, it's a little bit more rounded, like a typical eau de parfum. It's just not quite as abrasive and a little bit more refined, not quite so boy. It probably smells a little bit boy. I mean, the whole theme is based on the Greek god of desire. And marketing being what it is, I suppose Versace was like, here, wear this and you'll get laid. I don't know if that's ever worked. Maybe. I don't know. If any of you have experience with that, then, you know, tell me your story. Try to keep it family friendly. I have heard that Eros Parfum is the best one from several other reviewers. I don't understand why, but Versace only sells that one in 100 mils. If someday they come out with a 50 ml bottle, then maybe I'll consider it. But between the EDT and the EDP, I have a feeling this one will be better, hopefully. I have smelled the eau de toilette several times, and I've smelled it on several people, and it just kind of has that youthful party boy sauvage-y kind of thing. I feel like Eros is like the sauvage of Versace. So I'm hoping today that I will end up liking the eau de parfum. I'm not entirely sure. I've never smelled this particular concentration, but that's not all. I'm also going to pit it against Eros Flame. And ironically, Flame came out before the eau de parfum. This guy was released in 2018. So I'm not entirely sure why I decided to blind buy these. Much like all my blind buys, I happened to just stumble across them, super cheap, ultra mega marked down on a discounter. So I figured, why not? At least we'll make a fun video out of it. So let's get to it. Hey. Uh-oh. Whoops. Holy crap. Sorry about that. My mic wasn't turned on. Oops. Well, that's what happens when you're live. Check, check. Hey, hey. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. Okay, we're back. Now our audio is much better. Hate when that happens. This is why I need to hire a crew at some point. All right, massive apologies for that terrible sounding intro. The mic's working now. Let's continue. Starting with the presentation. First obvious difference, Versace Eros Eau de Parfum comes in a blue box. Eros Flame comes in a red box. Pretty stereotypical box, but you've got that kind of weird design around the border. Then you've got the Medusa head in the middle. Same with the Flame box. It's more embossed on. You don't have the gold accents on the border. And from what I remember, the bottles are really impressive looking. I have a feeling the bottle design was a big part of their success. Yeah. I do love the bottles, I'll admit it. When I first saw this stunning bottle with that same texture design around the border and that Medusa head just sticking out right in the middle. Also, you got the Medusa head on top of the cap, and the entire back is etched with that same design. I was really drawn to it when I first saw it, and I was like, oh, please, let me love it, let me love it. But, like I said, when I smelled the eau de toilette, I was like, it wasn't for me, but I'm hoping the eau de parfum is a step up. And I believe the Flame bottle is the same. Let's blow the boxes back to the gods! Aha! Oh! Wow! Maybe that's why I have so many technical problems. It's all these explosions. You can't see it, but there are massive craters all around me. I'll get the floor fixed at some point. Yes, the Flame bottle is the same design, only obviously red. But then you have like a rose gold copper-like accent on the cap, and on the Eros Eau de Parfum cap, it's a blue accent. So a couple little subtle differences, but pretty much the same design, which I do love. When I do have multiple bottles from the same line, I prefer them to all have a uniform look. So whether I love the scents or not, they will look gorgeous on my display. Well, there's your presentation. Let the battle of the gods begin! The doctor is now in, starting with Eros Eau de Parfum. Yep. Smells like Eros in the air. Now Eros Flame. I'm getting some different nuances from this side. Okay, here we go. First time trying Eros Eau de Parfum. Oh, wait, that does smell better. I mean, it's been a minute since I've smelled the Eau de Toilette, so two things could be happening. Either the Eau de Parfum concentration has a more refined nature to it, or my palate has expanded and grown to a point that I have a whole new appreciation for the scent. Because I remember when I first smelled it, yes, it was very synthetic. It was very kind of, I don't know, I hate to say this, but a little douchey. But I do remember thinking, that does smell good. It does have that Versace level of quality. And I've said this a bunch, but Versace is a really solid designer name, and they make really solid fragrances for fairly inexpensive. So I can understand why this was such a hit. It's creamy, it's citrusy, it's fun. Yeah, not bad. Okay, let's check out Flame. Oh my. Whoa, that's different.
And now for something completely different.
I can still detect that Eros DNA in there, but man, they really took it to a whole nother place. Kind of digging that one so far. I'm hoping that this pleasant open will carry on into the dry down, and I'm sure that the Eau de Parfum concentrations will undoubtedly aid their longevity. So yeah, a really nice open so far. Obviously not to the level of a lot of niche fragrances and a lot of really fancy top shelf fragrances I've reviewed on here, but for the price, I mean, I can't knock it. They smell really good. All right, let's check out the notes. Starting with Eros Eau de Parfum. Oh, in the open, we have mint, candy apple, lemon, and mandarin orange. And the citrus absolutely makes sense. I'm really getting that right now. Ambroxan, of course. I mean, Eros, Sauvage, Bleu de Chanel. I mean, they're all kind of around that same generation, I think. So yeah, there's definitely Ambroxan in there, which is great. Ambroxan's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't smell super Ambroxan heavy like Sauvage, which is like a Ambroxan-y punch in the nose. No, this smells much more balanced. Geranium, clary sage, cedar, sandalwood, patchouli, a little bit of leather, apparently, and vanilla. I smell a big dose of vanilla, and I think that's what's giving the entire blend its overall creamy sweetness. That and the sandalwood, I'm sure. I mean, yeah. It's really good. All right, let's check out the notes for Flame and see what the differences are. Oh, black pepper and rosemary. Oh, I get that. It is a little more spicy than Eros. Also a lot of citrus, mandarin orange, lemon, and chinoto. That's a first for me. I don't think I've ever seen that in a note breakdown. We got geranium and rose. That's a pretty cool addition. Then in the base, we also have sandalwood, cedar, vanilla, patchouli, but also tonka bean and oak moss. And oak moss usually makes a fragrance smell more mature and grown up. So I wonder if Flame was released to appeal more to the middle-aged crowd. Like Eros is for the younger, go out and party, hitting the clubs, flirting type scent. And then Flame is more like in your 30s when you're, going out to dinner, having a nice date. Yeah, it has more of a grown-up feel to it, but it's still really fun. Like you can party like crazy wearing this thing. So yeah, I really dig that open. That's really nice. It's a little more complex, I think, than Eros. But we will see how they both dry down and develop, so why don't we do what we always do? I'll step away, we'll come right back, and we will wrap up this battle of the gods. Stay right there. What's up? All right, time to wrap up this Eros battle. Give me the strength, gods. The old gods and the new. All right, now that they have fully developed, let's compare. Eros, man, this thing really does dry down nicely. My only complaint with it is that it is just so recognizable. I can't really hold the popularity against it. In and of itself, it's a fantastic scent, I think. I don't think Emily is gonna like it at all. Probably smells a bit frat boy. It's got that super sweet, youthful clubbing thing. So I'll tell you right now, if you're eyeing this up, you should definitely try it. But before you do, I would suggest trying Ultramall by Jean Paul Gaultier first. Because this also has that fun, youthful vibe. But that all rests on that Le Male DNA, which is a fougere and which is a little bit more respectable. Or if you want to stick with Versace, I think that Dylan Blue or Pour Homme are also better options. But I'll tell you one thing, this is much better than Sauvage. I would take this over Sauvage any day. I'm sorry, I don't want this channel to be the Sauvage haters network. Sauvage is also very good in and of itself, but I do find Eros to smell less abrasive, less synthetic. It definitely doesn't smell ultra natural or super fancy or niche or top shelf. But again, I just really do enjoy the scent. Even if I never wear it out, I'm still glad to have it because I do love to just smell it for me. And from what I can remember, if memory actually serves. The Eau de Parfum does seem like a step up from the Eau de Toilette. I would imagine the Parfum is probably a whole other giant leap upward from this, but there's no way of finding out today. Eros Flame on the other wrist. Get it? The other hand, other wrist. This thing is really good. I'll give it credit. This thing does take the DNA up a notch. And I think it might just be that oak moss in the base. And look, I don't want to put this on too high of a pedestal. It also doesn't smell expensive. It doesn't smell fancy, but it smells more interesting than the original DNA. It smells like Versace was trying to make an Eros with a little twist of something like Tuxedo by YSL. Obviously not nearly as high quality. I mean, this thing is just, yeah, that's just magic. I mean, come on, if you're gonna choose between anything I've mentioned, go with that one. Your wallet will hate you, but your soul will love you. But obviously this is out of reach price-wise for a lot of people. So I would say if you're looking for something easy, pleasant, really familiar and likable to those around you on the lower price range, which Versace is very good at, then I gotta give this one mad props. I think this was a really good release by the Eros line. I really like where they went with this one. And I also really do enjoy the EDP, but I think if I were to choose a winner today, based on first impression, I think Flame wins by a mile. I've heard a lot of other reviewers say the same thing, and I fully agree. This is one I would reach for more often than this one. But the original Eros is a piece of fragrance history. It's a massive, massive hit for Versace, and I understand why. I just think that this DNA might be a little bit more dated than Flame. This to me smells a little more timeless. But I really enjoy both, and I'm glad to have both in my collection. And I'm really glad to have you with me today. If you feel like doing this again sometime, you should subscribe. Join the community, join the fun, join the family of nostrils. And if you want to help us out, give us a like, ring that bell. I mean, we owe it to the algorithm gods. They are generous. Thanks again, by the way. Feel free to share us with your pheromone challenge friends and family. Help them smell like gods or goddesses. Blast me out there all over your socials. And don't forget to leave a comment. I'm sure that you've smelled Eros at some point. Tell me your thoughts on this guy. And if you tried Eros Flame, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this as well. Or just ask me whatever. I love chatting with y'all because this ain't no fragrance channel. What is it? It's a community. Radio, my nostrils radio. And join me next time for more of this godlike content. Stay loving, stay desirable, and most of all, stay smelly. The doctor is out.